Okay, now we're going to be talking about hunger. And there is a kind of a complicated biology regarding hunger. Our body sends us signals when it is time to eat, sends us signals when we are full, and it does it through a number of different mechanisms and different kinds of chemicals and so on. So we'll just briefly go over them. One way in which our body sends us a signal is through stomach contractions. When we have hunger pangs, essentially that's happening as well as what's happening is your stomach is contracting. And again, that's your body telling you you need to have food. So the stomach contractions are a signal that you need food. CCK, this particular hormone, is involved also in telling us, when we're full. Basically, when we're digesting food, the CCK is released, and essentially it sends a message for us to stop eating. Various chemicals in the blood, obviously glucose, which is the main fuel that our brain needs, as well as our body. The glucose is, the simple sugar in our blood sugar, and when there is an increase in blood sugar, essentially, it's saying that we have enough to eat. If the liver detects that you do not have enough glucose, it will release glucose into the blood. So the liver is a storehouse for glucose. Again, your brain needs glucose, so basically the detection of blood sugar is an important component of our hunger regulation. Insulin is released when we've eaten. We have glucose in the blood. The insulin processes this. When we eat complex carbohydrates, vegetables and whatnot, our insulin level will increase to process the carbohydrates, and it'll gradually fall essentially as our digestion process continues. When we eat simple sugars, like in fruit juices, let's say, the insulin level will shoot up, and then it will fall back down very quickly. So you may feel the need to eat again pretty soon, not long after you've already consumed sugary foods. So that's one of the things. If you have the vegetables, high fiber food, you're going to feel fuller from that because the complex carbohydrates take longer to digest than the simple carbohydrates or the simple sugars. Leptin is another chemical, and leptin essentially, the release of leptin essentially signals that you're full. The brain is also involved in essentially regulating our when we eat and when we don't. So our feelings of hunger essentially. The hypothalamus is particularly important. The lateral hypothalamus, one part of the hypothalamus, is involved in the initiation of hunger and eating. So basically, when the lateral hypothalamus is stimulated, it initiates behavior of trying to eat. And this has been shown in rats. When they stimulate this particular part of the brain, the lateral hypothalamus, the animal will start eating. If this part of the brain is lesioned, is destroyed, then the animal essentially will stop eating, and it will become very, very underweight. The ventromedial hypothalamus is involved in satiety, stopping eating, and stopping hunger and stopping hunger, stopping eating. Well, with the ventromedial hypothalamus, if you stimulate that, essentially the animal will stop eating. If you destroy the ventromedial hypothalamus with a lesion, the animal will eat and eat and eat and eat until it becomes very overweight. you'll probably see a picture, if you look in the textbook, you'll see a picture of a very fat rat that had the ventromedial hypothalamus lesion. Neurotransmitters are also involved. One neurotransmitter, serotonin, which seems to be involved in satiety. But the serotonin also kind of seems to have a complicated role when it comes to hunger. And it's actually been, they've been trying to, use it to the serotonin antagonist to regulate eating behavior for people who are obese. There are individual differences in hunger and eating. Some people like to eat more than others. Different types of motivation can be involved in eating. For example, you eat because you feel hungry. So, in other words, you're noticing the body signals that you have. The hunger pangs are essentially telling you, you're responding to the messages your brain is telling you that it's time to go eat. So you might go and get something to eat. Or you might be passing by a bakery early in the morning that is just baking some bread, and it smells delicious, and you say, I'm going to go in and get myself some fresh baked bread. And that is something that, you may not have been feeling hungry 5 minutes ago, but when you pass by that bakery, it's an incentive for you to go eat. So, you can be getting intrinsic signals telling you that it's time to eat. You could also be getting incentives from the environment that are telling you, hey, that looks good, let's eat. We also, eating is an important part of our culture, so we have times in which it's appropriate to eat. We have certain foods that are appropriate for certain occasions, like the Thanksgiving turkey. So we have some, and you eat the sweet desserts at the end of the meal is a tradition. The birthday cake is a tradition. So we have various things in our culture that that essentially signal us, that tell us, hey, it's time to eat. So this makes it difficult for people who are dieting, because they still attend these events. They still have to go through Thanksgiving. They still have to attend birthday parties, and they may be tempted to perhaps eat more than they should, or eat foods that are not particularly healthy for them. You also we have a culture, in our country, we can easily obtain food at very low prices, so it's easy enough to get some really tasty food and go ahead and eat. And again, it makes it hard for us to keep down our weight because of all that readily available food. There's an interesting phenomenon that I used to study, that I studied in graduate school with my graduate advisor, concept being the token refusal of food. That the idea that there are many circumstances in which we will be offered food, offered a piece of cake, offered something to eat, and we will, for politeness sake, we will say no, we don't want any. But in reality, we do really want it. In reality, we do intend to eat it. We just perhaps want the person offering it to maybe ask us again, are you sure you don't want it? Well, I guess okay, I do want it. So that's the idea of the token refusal of food. You really do want to eat the food that's being offered to you, but perhaps for politeness sake, so maybe you don't appear to be like a pig, you say no, thank you. But again, the purpose is for you to be convinced and go ahead and eat anyway. So bottom line, hunger is a complicated picture here. You've got, the biopsychosocial approach really looks at hunger in a, from these three perspectives: biology, psychology, social, and cultural. So, for example, we've already mentioned some of the biological signals that our body sets when it comes to food. We have psychological, the sight and smell of tasty food, trigger us to react to it. We learn to associate things with food and get, so our memory plays a role in this as well. Our mood plays a role. If we're very happy, we might be more inclined to eat. Although some people, when they get very upset, they cope. To make themselves feel better, they will eat. Finally, social and cultural. Again, we have many different traditions in our culture as far as when to eat and what to eat and how much to eat, and it's all this is also all this is above and beyond what our bodies are telling us.